Alright guys, let's talk about the Mists of Pandaria Classic. I've spent a good few hours playing this game now, just doing like a little bit of leveling, world exploring, just kind of seeing what's new. I'm at level 27 now, so nothing crazy. The leveling is obviously faster than what I'm used to on Classic WoW, and I've just kind of stopped for a second, and I don't know what hit me, but at a certain point, I kind of sat here and went, this isn't Azeroth, this isn't the Azeroth that I know. And before, you go to the comments and say, oh, he's a boomer, he only likes classic WoW. For full clarity, I do enjoy retail World of Warcraft, which is, of course, a very, very different game. But I was kind of hoping that MoP would be like a halfway house, where it wouldn't be so full-on and retail-esque. And it's got me thinking now, really where the cutoff was. Where was that kind of happy medium where if classic is too slow, what would be just fast enough that it didn't break the game? I guess in many ways I've been spoiled by picking up Classic Anniversary as my first time playing World of Warcraft, because in truth it's all I've ever known. All I've known is long flight times, huge queues when trying to get into dungeons, and I guess transporting everyone there, and long leveling processes. And now this just feels so alien to me. And yes, whilst a lot of you can say, well, if you've tried retail, then surely you know, but I guess I was just hoping from like Cataclysm to MoP that it just wouldn't be so fast. That's just not the case. In every interaction I have had with this element of the game, everything has just been so rushed. In fact, one of the main things I really loved about Classic in its very form is the fact that there's a real emphasis on world exploration, kind of just going off the beaten path, doing a few quests here, turning them in, checking out some of the art design, the architecture, the races, tribes, all that sort of stuff. And do you know what? In this, I'm going to be honest with you, as you guys can see now, I'm in Falcon Wing Square. I haven't left this area in 27 levels, because every time I pick up a quest, by the time I've done a dungeon, I've pretty much out-leveled that quest or got to a point where the rewards are so futile, it just didn't really seem worth it. Now, whilst of course you could argue, well, just don't keep spamming dungeons, go out and quest, which of course I can do, but it's quite clear that the focus of the game at this point is mainly on endgame, and well, really it just seems like the game by its very design doesn't want you in this leveling process. It kind of just wants you at the end. It's really quite hard for me to explain, to be honest, because the world by design feels a lot bigger, yet because of the introduction of Instance Finder, which I know would have been in Kata, but because of that, it just feels a lot smaller. You don't really see so many people running around. You certainly don't have the social interactions of people passing you by, maybe saying something, checking out your gear, buffing you. You kind of lose all that. The world gets bigger, but yet ultimately gets smaller at the same time. If we touch back on spamming dungeons, I mean, the game even rewards you for running random dungeons with large XP bonuses, random loot drops, and I guess that kind of leads me into the next point, which I was really sad to see, and that's just how quick the dungeons are, and people are just so quick to get in and out. No one really stops to say, hi, how's your day going? If you put like, be right back, or I need 2 seconds like you would in Classic, no one really waits for you, it's just a rush to the end. I mean, I did Stockades the other day, not the biggest dungeon of course, but that was over within like a minute, 2 minutes, and it is just literally a case of pull everything and everything dies. I just didn't think that MoP would be so retail-esque at this point. It's really got me thinking about where the cutoff was. When did everything get tuned up and turned up so much? Now, of course, it's not all bad. There are plenty of great components to the expansion. I like that the combat is a little bit more fluid. Everything seems a little bit more refined. There are certain changes to like the talent trees, which are kind of hard to swallow, but I get where they were going with it. But I just can't help but feel like the focus just isn't on the journey anymore. It's very much just on the destination and then what kind of lies thereafter. This might just be an awful take to someone that just doesn't know World of Warcraft as much as you guys do, but surely there is like a golden era, right? There's like a cut-off point where people are like, just press pause right there on that expansion, because that is perfect. And I really thought having retail out and having Classic out, and then having, well, what was Kata now into MoP in the middle, I really thought that was kind of what this was. This was a product for someone who didn't like the kind of fatigue of the Classic game, but didn't like the kind of abrasive rushing of the retail game. Now, of course, you can't blame people for progressing and fleshing out their accounts and their characters, but A lot of people have heirlooms now, which makes running the content with them so easy. People are able to just pull everything, AoE it down, and not really get punished for it. Even open world content is an absolute breeze. Enemies don't really seem to pose any real danger at all, you know, at least not at the level I'm at the moment. I don't want to be stuck in this kind of boomer classic brain thought process, but when I think about gear, getting gear drops in this game, I mean, they happen so fast because everything's moving so fast that it just doesn't really feel special or relevant. I find myself greeding most things because I can't even be asked to check what the stats are half the time. I fully appreciate that this expansion and this type of World of Warcraft just might not be for me, and I get that, and that's probably why I've not spent as much time in retail as I have in Classic, but it just shocked me. I really thought this would be slightly slower than what retail is. I really thought retail was as fast as it is because it's so far ahead, when it seems like Mr. Pandaria is very much that. I instantly got a retail kind of feel. I don't know, this could just be a bald guy just rambling to the internet like I do with a lot of these videos, but for any of you WoW heads out there, you dedicated fans that have played the game for a long time, is there a golden era? And if there is, let me know. I know some people say TBC, some people say Wrath of the Lich King. I just want to know your personal opinion, because when did it start getting so fast? When did you stop caring how many mobs you pulled per pack? And when did you have to stop not really worrying about what enemies to CC, to poly, to... I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you kind of get where I'm going with this. Anyway, as always, just some thoughts.